What is going on, Sports Wars? We're here. We are live, not back home yet, still remote, still on location, still dealing with dog shit internet. But I figured one skip is too many. We can't skip 2 weeks in a row for Sports Wars. So we're back. I ain't going to say we're better than ever. We're pretty much the fucking same, but we are here. Fear the Beardo. What's up, man?
Nothing much. Been playing some college football 2025. It's actually pretty fun. It's really addicting. The first night I played it, I probably played it for about 8 hours, and all of a sudden it was like 6 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, holy shit. It's really fun. It's a really good game. So I'm surprised with EA and their failures with Madden as of recently. It's not perfect, but it's fun. So I'm glad college football video games are back.
There's kind of a lot riding on this. If they had brought it back and it was shit, it would have got torched. You know what I mean? It really would have got torched by everybody. So it seems like people are enjoying it. I haven't been back home yet. When I get home, I'll play it. It's been a long time. The last one I got, I think, was the last one that got released. The one with Denard Robinson on the cover. That
2014,
was 14, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I do have a few complaints. So Ryan, check this out. There's a few things you cannot do. You cannot create a player. You can't just create a random player and just throw him on a roster. You can't create your own player unless it's in the game mode Road to Glory. It has to be in the game mode Road to Glory. But you cannot, outside of that game mode, just go into Creation Center and create your own player and just put him on a roster and play as him. You can't do that. You also cannot go in. You can't go into the roster or depth chart and edit players' stats. So it's not you can't go to your favorite player or some shitty player or any player for that matter who has an NIL deal and edit their stats, because legally, apparently I looked it up legally, since they have an NIL contract, you cannot edit their stats. So you can't make their speed, their strength, their agility, their arm strength. You cannot make them better or worse because they have an NIL deal.
I mean, to me, I'm fine with that. I don't see the need to go in there and fucking cheese everybody up or cheese everybody down. Like either
I wanted to go in there and make Arch Manning 99 overall and take Texas to the fucking ship 4 years in a row.
Why didn't you just play with Arch Manning?
Well, I did do that.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, when I played Madden 2020 or 2005, I sat there. I had the option of using Rex Grossman or Kyle Orton was the backup. I fucking took Rex Grossman's ass out, put Kyle Orton in. He was a 72 overall. I didn't fucking care. I won the damn Super Bowl with him because that's what you do.
So I started a dynasty. I benched Quinn Ewers. I put in Arch Manning, and I'm doing just fine. But those are two things I noticed. You can't create a player, and you can't edit anybody's stats.
Well, there you go. I'll have to check it out for myself. Yeah. John at Matrix from Black and White Sports. What's up, man?
Yeah, I believe I actually missed 2 weeks in a row because you were on the road last weekend for the RNC, and we had the hurricane here the previous week. So, yeah, everything is going good. In case people don't know, we got hit by a hurricane over here at Cat 1, and my neighborhood was fine. It was just my neighbor's wood planks on his fence. I mean, his backyard is messed up, man. Because I think he needs to replace those anyway, but I'd already replaced most of my fence planks anyway. So we came out good, no damage. We lost electricity for a day, but Houston, for the most part, that was down for like a week.
The problem was it was a Cat 1, but it was super slow moving. And it just sat there and sat there and sat there, beating you guys with wind. And there was over 2 million people without power. Some of them for a significant amount of time.
Yeah, I was lucky for one day. My brother, he was down for like 5 days. He went to his father-in-law's house in Baytown and stayed there for a few days. And he got his electricity back. So, yep, we're back, man. Not a lot of damage around the Houston area, though.
Well, there you go. You're back with us. And the reason that I was that we didn't do the stream last week because I was traveling. I was actually on a plane at the time of the Sports Wars stream. I forgot to put out a post before. I put it out while on a Southwest flight to Milwaukee because I was at the Republican National Convention. I was at the RNC from Monday through Thursday. And of course, on that Thursday night, we got to hear a speech from the 45th president of the United States. His first public speech after the assassination attempt was the acceptance speech at the RNC. And there was a little line thrown in there that I thought was very, very relevant for sports wars. So we might as well talk about that now. And I am on shitty internet, guys, just so you know. So hopefully it holds up and I don't drop out, some bullshit like that. But let's get into this. At the Republican National Convention, during his acceptance speech, it went on for 92 minutes. President Donald Trump mentioned something that obviously is very relevant to this channel, and that's talking about transgender athletes in women's sports. Now, a few people mentioned it throughout the week, including Don Jr., including Eric Trump, and including President Donald Trump himself. Donald Trump takes clear stance on transgender athlete participation in women's sports in the RNC speech. And we'll just let this play right here.
And we will not have men playing in women's sports. That will end the meeting.
Now, like I said, he was not the only one to bring that up. Right before maybe about an hour and a half before this, Eric Trump said the same thing.
Male athletes, guys my height, 6'5", are swimming in women's sports. Destroying the dreams of young girls who have trained every minute of their lives.
Now, I thought this was particularly interesting because I met some people at the RNC, specifically Riley Gaines, someone who's been at the forefront of this, someone who's been fighting against and calling this stuff out, including with that disgusting, degenerate man who now goes by Leah Thomas, formerly known as Will Thomas, a man who stepped in the pool and beat these female athletes. A mediocre college swimmer as a man jumps in the pool, pretends he's a different person, and all of a sudden is breaking national records, is winning national championships. I also got to speak with the Penn swimmer who is Leah Thomas's teammate, Paula Scanlon. It's disgusting. It's awful. And I would hope that there is some action taken. We've now seen it banned in like over 20 states at this point, but this is a fucking problem. This is a massive problem. And for all the people that want to pretend like, oh, it's just a pretend issue, this isn't happening. It's happening all the time. We talk about it on this channel almost every week.
Yeah, and you're not going to be able to get Riley Gaines or any former college athlete, whether it's swimming or track and field, for their career to come back. Like, you're not going to be able to change what's been done. Yeah, you can go into the record book and take away the male athlete who might have won first place while an actual female won second place, but you cannot replace the awards, the ceremonies, the actual feeling of winning first place. That was taken from them. But what we can change is for the future that this doesn't happen again. And I feel really bad, man, because in the past few years, we had a lot of college students whose careers were destroyed by COVID. And then you have it right after that destroyed by transgender fucking weirdos, fucking dudes competing in women's sports who are now taking that away from women as well. It really sucks. So what we can do is change it for the future. But unfortunately for all those female athletes for the past couple of years, like, you can't give that back to them, which really sucks.
Yeah, you're right, Beardo. And one thing is, it's going to be more on a state level than a federal level, because this is definitely going to be, we talked about states' rights before. And like here in Texas, not going to fly. California, open season. But there was a vote a couple of weeks ago on protecting. It wasn't necessarily, I believe, female sports, but it was tied into it. Every single Democrat voted to shut down protecting women. Every single one. It wasn't going to pass anyway because the Senate is actually now the House passed it, but the Senate wasn't going to pass it because it's run by Democrats, and Biden wasn't going to sign it anyway. But if Trump actually gets the White House, Republicans actually get the Senate and maintain the House, it could actually be signing the law.
Yeah, and even if it's not specifically by a law, but it's just pressure that they're able to put on people, right?
Right.
On these different organizations, whether it be the NCAA, whether it be someone else, because this has to stop. We saw the changes they made to Title IX, somehow absent. The Title IX, the Title IX program, which was about women's sports, right, and equal playing field and equal budget, all these different things. They expanded it to include gay people and all this other bullshit. Not a single mention of actually protecting women's sports from men, from male athletes going in there and destroying the entire thing. So obviously, very good to hear Trump say that he does plan to do something about that. What exactly that is may remain to be seen. There's a lot of athletes out there who lost out on maybe this one single opportunity they had to win because a mentally ill man named Will Thomas, who changed his name to Leah Thomas, started going by different pronouns, hopped in the pool, and nobody wanted to call it out. At least nobody with any power wanted to call it out. And it was absolutely disgusting. Hopefully we get something to change soon.
Yep.
But what was that, Beardo?
Oh, it was my Ring doorbell. I just turned my volume down. Sorry.
Okay, that's all right. Well, I thought for a second when I heard it, I thought it was the song that played during Angels in the Outfield, where something godlike was about to happen.
No, so something. Amazon just delivered something. I just turned my volume down though.
It's all good. Do you like that movie when you were growing up?
I might have seen Angels in the Outfield once.
What the fuck? Aren't you an Angels fan?
Yeah.
I think I've seen it once. And didn't it come out like 30 years ago?
Just once. It's been a long time since I've seen it too.
You're younger, so it might have been a little before your time. But to me,
Angels in the Outfield, kid.
Bro, Angels in the Outfield was fucking awesome. I watched the shit out of that all the time. There was that era in I guess the mid 90s or whatever. There was a lot of good random kid baseball movies. You don't have any of those anymore. No one gives a fuck. Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
As a Cubs fan, Rookie of the Year, Henry Rowan Gardner. Come on, man. That was awesome.
Yeah. 90s had a lot of good sports movies in general, man.
I was Sandlot. Sandlot was mine growing up. And then I really liked The Rookie with Dennis Quaid.
Oh yes, yeah. Good one.
That's a really good movie. That came out, 98?
Early 2000s.
Yeah.
No, that was For the Love of the Game. That's what I was thinking of.
For the Love of the Game, no. That's with
Costner?
That's with Costner. That's the Costner.
Yeah, so I do think early 2000s maybe for Rookie of the Year with Dennis Quaid. But the one scene I always remember from that is when he goes out to the radar that's supposed to track cars just to see how fast he can throw, and he throws
it says 78,
78, and then as he's
flickers,
walking away,
and then it flickers and it says 98.
Yeah. That's an awesome scene from that.
Fuck yeah, it is. Fuck yeah. Yeah,
I love that.
The Rookie's a phenomenal movie. And then For the Love of the Game is great. Major League, that's an all-time classic. I love Major League.
Let me get a couple of these super chats. Zenny Biscuit for 2. Belmont Stakes winner Dornock takes the Haskell. Hell yeah. Congratulations, Dornock. Dom H, great to have Sports Wars back. Thank you, Dom.
Thank you, Dom.
Mike Hill, Caitlin Clark got revenge. Beating Team USA. Yeah, we can talk about that in a second here.
Yeah.
We can talk about that in a moment. We got Mike Hill for 5. Speaking of trans athletes, Brittany Griner says she will be the father of her child's life.
That's for. I want to be called Pops. That's what she said.
I would expect that. Yeah.
If she doesn't, the kid's gonna be fucking confused.
That kid, I feel bad for that kid.
That kid's already fucked.
Yeah.
I've got that somewhere. Let me see if I can find that clip.
I want to be called Pops.
What a freak.
It was on the Spun yesterday. That's where I saw it.
Well, I saw a clip on Twitter that I hopefully bookmarked that I can find as my shit's just spinning. Ah, here it is.
Ryan, did you see the Kill Tony with Shane Gillis as Donald Trump?
Oh, it was great. It was hilarious.
So freaking good.
It was hilarious. Here we go. So Brittany Griner Always an interesting topic of conversation whenever this person shows up, because obviously imprisoned in Russia, we traded a war criminal to get Brittany Griner back for the dozens of WNBA fans at that point that actually wanted to return to the United States. This person who hates her country, this person who is probably a biological man based on everything we've seen and heard. Isn't it interesting that when Brittany Griner has a new child with his or her wife, whatever you want to call it, has an interesting way that she or he wants to be referred to. So Brittany Griner is a man as a parent and in their marriage, but a woman on the court. Do I have that right? Anything else? This is from Bobby Burak. And it's because of this clip right here. Listen to this shit.
I think there's probably one other job that you're about to get into that is really hard and really scary. You're about to be a mom. How is that feeling? Pops. Oh, let me get it together. About to be a pops.
What the fuck?
You and what you're looking forward to most.
I'm super excited. Well, I mean, I guess I'll just drop it. He's here. So he's here. Yes. 7/8/24.
Ryan, can you pause it real quick?
Yeah.
The bitch on the right needs to get she needs to get her tooth replaced. Why is she doing television? Why is she doing live TV?
I just noticed
with a fucking missing tooth like that. Get your fucking teeth fixed.
I would say she needs to have that baby first, but I don't think she's actually pregnant. I just think she's fat. But yeah, she does have a tooth right. Listen, this is still, as much as we talk about the WNBA now because of Caitlin Clark or whatever, it's still the WNBA. This is not just the B team. This is the C, D, F team that we're talking about here. But yeah, let's listen to Pops.
Yeah, 7 pounds 8 ounces. Yeah, that's my man.
I love that.
He is amazing.
That's my man.
They say, as soon as you see him, it just like everything that you thought mattered just goes out the window, and that's literally what happens. It's kind of sucks because I got to leave. But at the same time, he'll understand.
How fucking cringe and weird is it?
Yeah.
You're going to be a mom. Pops. He going to call me Pops.
You notice how BG corrected her immediately. Pops. Like, push back on her.
Like, clearly this is a fucking man. Like, at this point, how can we not say this? We said it as a joke for a while, and then it became a little bit less of a joke. Now, this dude is asking people to refer to him as Pops when he's like he's in the WNBA pretending that he's a woman. I don't fucking know. But when you want to be called Pops with that deep ass voice, what do you expect people to say? This is insane.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, man, if I called my mom Pops, she would slap the shit out of me if I said that to her.
Again, like the one thing that's like I'm hanging back on is if this was a man, she'd be able to be like dunk much easier, right? Yes. Than we've seen at their height. Also, like the whole domestic violence thing, yeah, lesbians hit each other a lot, but also, black men hit their partners a lot. So it's like tough to tell with domestic violence. I don't know. So like there's a lot of things you got to throw up there that I'm not exactly sure, but people in Russia know. They have to know. They got her in prison. They did cavity searches, I would imagine.
Remember, they actually tried to throw her into a male prison, a male jail cell. Brittany Griner said that. They know something we don't.
Well, we might all know it.
Yeah, we may know it.
when you're becoming a mother and you want to be referred to as Pops, what the fuck are we supposed to think?
I want to know what the baby looks like. If that baby comes out looking like Brittany Griner, that answers everything for sure, 1,000%.
That's true. That's very, very true.
Wild. So her partner was the one who gave birth, or did they adopt?
Yeah.
The partner gave birth.
The partner was definitely pregnant.
Yeah, the partner gave birth. I assume surrogate or whatever, but you never know.
Yeah, you never know.
No. Cheryl was pregnant with the baby.
Right.
Fully pregnant.
I didn't mean surrogate. I should have meant like sperm donor.
A donor.
Or whatever.
A
donor. But we've all seen that picture or videos of Brittany Griner when she's at the pool without a shirt on.
Yeah.
And there's no mastectomy scars. There's no clear sign that there was a breast reduction or anything. It was just
chest is flatter than all of this.
Looked like a regular dude. Wild.
It is wild, but that's Brittany Griner, star Brittany Griner of the WNBA.
No, it's Pops.
Pops, yeah, Pops. They call me Pops. Emilio with 10 gifted memberships. Thank you, Emilio. Gerald Armstrong 5, is Brandon Grinder the first true androgynous carbon unit? Maybe. There are people legitimately those people that like the true aberrations, like mutants who
hermaphrodites.
have and who have maybe a random extra chromosome, or actually have multiple
track runner.
Exactly, who actually have additional sex organs from both sexes. We could be looking at one of these situations realistically. I don't fucking know. But yeah, if she's better at basketball, I guess it would matter a little more.
But that means then that Brittany Griner is not a lesbian then. Just a straight male.
I don't know. I don't know if you can consider that straight, but
yeah,
straight tripping. Speaking of straight tripping, a few weeks ago when we had the Team USA announcement for women's basketball, there was a lot of pushback over some of the people who were selected to represent Team USA. Specifically, people like Brittany Griner, who hate this country and who are well past their prime, and others people were very critical of that were included on this team, that they seem to go more for experience than actual talent. And we do see that from time to time in Team USA with the men as well. Sometimes they might leave a young, talented player off there to have an old veteran, to have experience in international play. But it really came to a head last night when we saw the WNBA All-Star Game. And for the WNBA All-Star Game during this time, they actually matched up the WNBA All-Stars against Team USA because the Olympics are coming up. This team needs some practice, all those things. And spoiler alert, it didn't go too well for Team USA. Some of the people that they left off that roster look like we're very motivated to come and show, hey, maybe you skipped some people over. Team WNBA wins 117-109 against Team USA. Now, this is an exhibition, right? It's not like everyone's necessarily going full bore. One person they did go full bore against was absolutely Caitlin Clark. You saw Kelsey Plum with maybe more insane defense than we see during the season or even during the playoffs in the WNBA to attempt to throw Caitlin Clark off her game. And she didn't have a great game shooting wise, but she did have 10 or 11 assists, damn near the WNBA all-time record for assists in the All-Star game. But another person who got snubbed off the list, Agumbawali, she went off 34 points. How fucking embarrassing is it for this Team USA? It's been very highly criticized for the decisions they made, that they didn't want Caitlin Clark on the team because she would bring too much attention, for keeping some of these older people on the roster who just don't have it anymore and leaving off some of these younger guys. It's a fucking embarrassing moment. And Pat McAfee kind of put him on blast with a very simple message. He said, hey, they got to send Team WNBA. They got to send the WNBA All-Stars over to Paris, France. We're probably going to be better off if you don't do that and leave this Team USA at home. It's pretty fucking sad.
I mean, Diana Taurasi is 42 years old, is on Team USA. Brittany Griner has played, 2 games? And she's on Team USA? Man, this is crazy.
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
It did seem like they were, again, they have something against Caitlin Clark for some reason, like we've seen over and over again. Yeah. The way they were guarding her, they did not want to let her end up having some big game against her.
She had 10 assists and 4 points.
Yeah, they covered her ass, which did lead to some open people, and she fed the ball. Caitlin Clark right now is leading the WNBA in assists, by the way. Also leading in turnovers, has to be noted, but she's leading the WNBA in assists in her rookie season. And this performance by Team USA, especially with the coach who's been criticized for the way she's handled the Caitlin Clark situation, all of this definitely not going to help the situation. And but again, I still I'm hard pressed to believe that we're talking this much about the fucking WNBA.
Yeah.
But it is the Caitlin Clark effect. It's hard to deny that. It's hard to deny that. Jose Contreras for a buck. The Hill is a recent baseball faith film based on a true story. It's a good movie with Dennis Quaid. Most sports movies now are based on faith recently. Yeah, I will. I'll check that out. The Hill. I don't know if I've heard of that one. Shout out to our people watching over on Rumble. What is this, Beardo?
There's a few of them. There's Jake Paul, and then one was Devontae Adams. Devontae Adams made some comments. He wants Tom Brady to come out of retirement and play for the Raiders.
Oh, come on. Look at this. So, shit, I accidentally clicked the wrong thing. My fucking laptop. Here we go. So this is what just came out. Devontae Adams reportedly wants Tom Brady as his quarterback with the Raiders. Now, he is, part owner of the Raiders at this point. Yeah. He's also set to make his debut for Fox. I just don't see it happening at this point.
Honestly, I don't want to see him, man. Tom Brady, his final season, it reminded me of his final season in New England. He didn't embarrass himself, but Tom Brady's going to be 47 in a couple of weeks. He's been out a whole year.
Yeah.
I don't want to see him. I don't want to say he's going to embarrass himself, but there's no point to come back now.
So let's play make-believe here. Tom Brady last year was technically his last year of his contract with Tampa Bay. So if he were to come back right now, he wouldn't be under contract with Tampa Bay. He'd be a free agent. He can sign
I don't think that's how it works, though.
That's not how it works?
No, it's not like you could just sit out. It's not like you could just not play for a year. And look, when he comes back, he would still have 1 year.
He would still have that 1 year.
For them. I believe that's the way it works. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. The Raiders were one of the teams when he was leaving New England. It was what, San Diego, the Raiders, and Tampa kind of just came in under the radar. So I don't know, man. If Brady were to play this season, he'd still be a top 10 quarterback in the league.
But the thing is, he's not. He's training. He's in shape, but he's not in football shape. He's not training to be a quarterback.
He's been training more than Aaron Rodgers.
Well, that's probably true right there. But still, man,
he'd be better than Dak. He'd be better than Daniel Jones.
There's
no doubt about it. He'll be better than Daniel Jones. He'll be a top 15, 20 quarterback like right now if he just walked onto the field.
He'd be top 10. He'd be a top 10 quarterback in the league if he were to play this year.
But he just hasn't played. That's
the man is 47 years old, and I don't think he wants to play anymore. That's the thing. I don't think he wants to play anymore. I think he's finally accepted it. And also, I don't want this to happen because I was present at Tom Brady's last game. It was a blowout loss to the Cowboys, but I was present at Tom Brady's last game, and I can always say that I literally watched him walk through the tunnel for the last time off the field. I witnessed it. And I don't think that anything, I just don't think anything's going to bring him back at this point.
Yeah. And I really don't want to see him go out like Peyton Manning. Yeah, Peyton Manning won that Super Bowl, man, but Peyton Manning was a complete shadow of himself.
Yeah, Peyton Manning was dog shit in his final season.
Yeah.
But he was injured, right?
He
was dog shit.
He had the plantar fasciitis. He didn't play well. They had a really good team. He won a Super Bowl. But for Tom Brady, there's a big difference between having Bruce Arians as your head coach and Todd fucking Bowles as your head coach.
Well, that's true, too.
And they lost a lot of players from that Super Bowl team. They lost a lot of players in those upcoming 2 years. But I don't think the Raiders are well equipped either for him to go there and try to win right now.
Right. But I also do believe that the personal drama in his life during that last season with Giselle, I believe that did play a role.
Oh, yeah.
In the way he looked.
Absolutely.
I mean, he looked like he was a skeleton at one point.
Yeah, high stress for sure. But he's been posting videos of him training, throwing the ball, throwing routes.
He can throw. I mean,
he looks good.
Have you seen Roger Staubach throw the football in his 70s? He was still throwing the football in his 70s. But that's way different, than
it's
a
different.
guy rushing you.
Yes, yeah, being forced to avoid, being forced to slide, being forced to do that. Like, that's not necessarily football shape for him just sitting there throwing. But and by the way, Peyton's last season, he had 9 touchdowns, 17
interceptions.
So shout out to Brock Osweiler for getting
he got
Denver
benched
Broncos
for Brock Osweiler, man.
Brock Osweiler got like a massive contract out of that. Then people were like, "Oh, this guy just sucks." Peyton Manning just sucked worse. But the defense was really fucking good.
They showed a good offense. They still had Demaryius Thomas. They had good tight ends, good running backs.
Right. But the way Tom Brady went out to be 45 years old, that's the best 45-year-old season you're probably ever going to see.
Did you see those clips of Devontae Adams getting pissed off at Jimmy Garoppolo's throws and everything? Yep. People on the other side of the sidelines talking shit about Jimmy Garoppolo, like how frustrating. It would be frustrating for Devontae Adams to literally have your entire NFL career to have Aaron Rodgers throwing you the football, to then go to anyone who's not Aaron Rodgers. You'd probably be frustrated.
It was that Netflix documentary, Wide Receiver. Last year they did quarterback, and Devontae Adams was like, man, I'm going to die out here. Jimmy Garoppolo is going to kill me with some of these passes. And Aaron Rodgers said a few weeks ago, or maybe it was last week, he was golfing, and somebody said, Aaron, I just want the Jets to win a Super Bowl. And he said, we'll win a Super Bowl, and Devontae Adams is going to come play for us. And then that day, Devontae Adams is like, yeah, it'd be nice to play with Aaron Rodgers again, but I'm not leaving Las Vegas. He said, I'm a Raider. I don't know if that was political, if he has to say that, but we'll see. I mean, Devontae Adams on the Jets would be fucking crazy, but we'll see. I guess you never know.
Yeah, we'll see. I did want to talk about something else. We just talked about Team USA women's basketball. I want to talk about Team USA men's basketball.
Yeah, this is worse.
This is worse. This is more embarrassing. It's one thing for Team USA to, lose to the Team WNBA All-Stars, whatever. What we just witnessed was the avoidance of one of the biggest disasters we've ever witnessed for Team USA basketball in its multi-decade history, because they almost lost. And LeBron James is the one of all people to bail them out, but they shouldn't have been in this position. It's pathetic that they were even there. They almost lost to South Sudan in exhibition, getting ready for the Olympics. South Sudan was, I believe, a 44.5-point underdog.
You're
and
right.
They were winning for a large portion of this game. And they were winning with, 10 seconds left on the clock. LeBron ends up getting a fairly easy layup to go ahead and actually win this thing. But the idea that that's where Team USA is at, and we know that over the course of the past several years and several decades, the world has gotten better at basketball and kind of have started raising to the level that USA has been at for a very long time. You look at all these international players, you look at these teams that this is the only thing they care about, because they might not play in the NBA. They might play in a lesser league. They really care about their country's team. They play together far more often than Team USA ever plays together. And Team USA can't just go in there and coast and expect to be fine. The fact that they almost lost to a nearly 50-point underdog is fucking insanity. And Steve Kerr took a lot of blame for it. Hey, I didn't prepare these guys well enough, blah, blah, blah. But we've seen some embarrassing moments over the past decade or so. We've seen, what was the loss to was it Nigeria a couple of years ago? Do you remember that, John?
Yeah.
And so you're talking about guys that don't have any NBA players on their roster that are competing with the best players in the NBA. And it is sad and pathetic when we see these things happen. Hopefully, this is the wake-up call they needed so we don't have one of the most embarrassing moments we could possibly imagine in the actual Olympics.
Yeah, this would have been the worst loss in Team USA history, the most embarrassing loss. I mean, South Sudan, do they have any NBA players or anybody close to the NBA on this team?
You have some people that have had NBA experience. You've got a former Charlotte Hornet on there. You've got a guy who was, I think, a two-way player for the Bulls last year, stuff like that. But I don't think they have any current NBA active roster members on this team.
Wow, man,
it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. Like I said, LeBron ends up getting he carried the ball, didn't get called, but LeBron does get a layup to save them from fucking embarrassment. But hopefully this is embarrassing enough that they get their shit together and get their acts in gear. I think one of the sad things to me is that, man, back in the 90s, the Dream Team was such like a cool experience, and all those people like really savor the moment and appreciated the patriotism of it all. They were grateful to like be part of that thing. And I feel like for a lot of these guys now, it feels like it's something they're kind of obligated to do. A lot of them might not have a lot of pride in their country necessarily. But there have been some interesting decisions to leave off some people for one reason or another anyway. But I don't know, man. It's going to be, I guarantee you, if they get fucking pressed and it gets to crunch time or whatever against one of these dog shit teams of the Olympics, this team is never going to hear the end of it.
Now, did Team USA win gold in the Tokyo Olympics? I know they had an embarrassing loss. It's kind of hard to remember.
Let me think. I keep forgetting.
They lost like 2 games.
Basketball medal history.
In my lifetime, I believe I remember USA men's winning gold twice.
Yeah, their first loss in the modern time was like 2000 in Sydney.
2004 is when they...
Oh, the wheels started falling off then.
Win, right? Yeah, 2004 is when they did win the gold. I think they came in with a bronze or something, maybe. But then 2008 was the redeem team. Remember that?
Right.
To like make up for that embarrassing loss. I think they still won the gold medal in every year since then. But I need to verify because I just don't fucking remember.
Because I remember in Tokyo they got embarrassed. They lost to somebody. I don't remember who it was.
Yeah, so they've won gold. I mean, starting from the Dream Team, 92, 96, 2000, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2022. So they did end up winning, even though they did maybe lose in the Olympics. Okay. And then they won bronze in 2004.
The thing is, though, the U.S. is so much more talented that they shouldn't lose a game. And so when they do lose, it's like, man, this sucks.
Yeah, it's kind of insane because you have these guys who are, you do have like some big time players when you look at like Doncic or guys like that who don't play for Team USA. It's like, okay, like they've got a guy, but there are some teams that have maybe one middling WNBA player who they like feature and ends up going off at like playing fucking crazy with a supporting cast that nobody knows who they fucking are. And they end up challenging Team USA.
But those teams also play together more too.
Exactly.
To be fair.
Exactly. And that's a big part of it. When you think that you can just play a pickup games together and be ready for the Olympics, it's just not the case anymore. The talent difference is getting closer, and these guys are really fucking caring. They really want to beat Team USA. As they should. Like, they're the best in the world, of course.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to give you their best shot.
The 92 Dream Team is the reason why all these other countries are much better now. Because, 92, man, they were just happy to be on the same court with Michael Jordan. But it woke those other countries up. We got to get better.
Yeah. 2006, USA didn't win any medal. Yeah, because there was no Olympics in 2006. So unless they were going to play on the ice, they wouldn't have won one. It was 2004, they won bronze. And then Kobe Bean Bryant led the Redeem team in 2008.
That was in Beijing.
All right. And we did, Beardy, you sent me these, you sent me a couple clips of the Jake Paul stuff. I think you probably paid more attention to this than I did last night.
I didn't watch it.
Oh, you didn't watch it.
I've paid for one Jake Paul fight, and it was horrible. Just these Jake Paul fights that it's like 80% concert and weed smoking and 20% fighting.
Yeah, so you did have Mike Perry, who's been out of the UFC for a little bit. You have Mike Perry in there. Again, a guy who's not a boxer, but is a fighter in there. And it did not go well for him against Jake Paul. We can watch a little bit of this.
That one caught him good. Paul, that's the one. Right hand. This may be it. Right hand. And he's down for a...
Pause it so I don't get fucking hit. So I don't hit.
Third time.
The jab set up the left hook.
But look at his face. You're about to see his face. He got fucked up.
Yeah, look at that.
Man.
Just wait.
Oh, he was stumbling right here.
Oh, and now wave it off. There is a new
Man. He looks like he was in a Rocky movie.
Another Jake Paul win against a guy who does not box professionally for a living.
Yep.
How long is Jake Paul going to be able to get away with these stunts?
As long as people keep paying for it, and
That's true.
Like, you know what I mean? Now, this is a fight, even though he's not a boxer, would be interesting to see because Alex Pereira is at the top of the UFC world right now. I don't think there's any way I don't think he should and has any reason to fight Jake Paul unless he wants a fuck ton of money, which is always a possibility. But here's him calling Alex Pereira out.
I'm going to go home prepared for that. And Alex Pereira, you said you want to box. I'm the king of this. Come over. We can make it happen. I want you, Alex Pereira.
You want the UFC light heavyweight champion, Alex Pereira?
Indeed. I just beat a BKFC champion. I beat multiple UFC champions, and he said he wants to box. So Alex Pereira, after Mike Tyson, let's make it happen.
Now, again,
I
like
hope
I
Mike
said,
Tyson doesn't kill you.
the thing is, with the insane numbers that these pull, Alex Pereira could probably make a lot fucking more money than he may be making right now in UFC if he does go and do this win or lose.
Yeah.
So that's always like the question. It would be interesting to see Alex Pereira out there, a guy who is on top of his game, but is not a boxer. But I don't fucking know. The next thing up is the Tyson fight on Netflix, which is probably going to be massive.
Yeah. And it's on regular Netflix, right? No, you don't have to pay for it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I have my feelings about this Mike Tyson fight. I've said it before on this show. Jake Paul needs to fight Tommy Fury again. He needs to fight a real boxer his age. Because the one time he did, he got his ass beat. So that's the rematch that Jake Paul needs. That's the rematch we need as boxing fans, as fighting fans, for us to finally bury this Jake Paul argument and conversation. He needs to fight Tommy Fury again. When he keeps fighting these old retired UFC fighters and then he's digging up Mike Tyson out of the grave to fight, come on, give me a fucking break. Let's fight some real boxers Jake Paul's age.
But he doesn't want to do it, man. I said it, man. He's not a boxer. He's not a real boxer. He's a showman.
Right.
He is a showman, and obviously he has been training for a while now, right? For the better part of a decade, we have seen him training pretty hard. And when he does get in the ring with guys who are fighters, but not specifically boxers, he does brutalize some of them. I would like to see him, like you said, the Tommy Fury fight where he was actually challenged. I would like to see him go after somebody who is current, who is around the same age and has experience in actual fucking boxing, who most people are like, well, that's a real fucking fighter right there. That's what I want to see him start doing. But why would he? It's all a show.
But he's going to lose.
It's all
time
for
again.
Promotion. So there's really no reason for him to do it because he keeps making a lot of fucking money.
Correct. And this Mike Tyson fight is 8 rounds, right? It was going to be 6 rounds, but now it's 8 rounds.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I believe it's 8 rounds. I believe it's 8 rounds with Mike Tyson. Realistically, Mike Tyson has 2 good rounds to try to knock out Jake Paul. If this fight goes any longer than that, Jake Paul is going to be running circles around Mike Tyson. It's going to get ugly, and it's going to be sad. It's going to be sad to see because there's a lot of people, a lot of boxing fans who Mike Tyson is their hero. He was the guy. And it's going to be sad to see Jake Paul, this social media influencer, take Mike Tyson to school after the second round. It's going to happen, man.
Thing is, though, Jake Paul hasn't fought anybody remotely close to the punching power of Mike Tyson. Mike Tyson still got the punching power.
He's 60 years old.
He's
I get that.
years old.
I mean, this ain't 1988 Mike Tyson. I mean, 1988 Mike Tyson would put Jake Paul in a coffin easily.
It's not a horrible take, and I'm not off my rocker. Yes, 58 years old in real life you still got some good years left to live. When we're talking about combat sports, 58 is ancient.
Yeah,
Jake Paul.
We're talking about guys who have taken a ton of punishment. On top of all the other stuff, the extracurricular things that Mike Tyson has done in his life that are also probably taking a heavy toll on his
Yes,
body.
drugs,
but also, like I said,
alcohol. Mike Tyson, he's got arthritis. He's not as mobile as he used to. Yeah, can he punch? Sure. That's why I said Mike Tyson's got about 2 good rounds. Mike Tyson has 2 rounds to knock out Jake Paul. And it has to be a knockout. He's not going to beat Jake Paul on points. He's got to knock him the fuck out. If it goes past 2 rounds, Jake Paul is going to be running laps around Mike Tyson. It's what's going to happen, man. Jake Paul is 27 years old. Mike Tyson is 58. That is ancient for combat sports. And I know a lot of you guys, a lot of people, Mike Tyson's their hero, and it's going to suck for you guys to see Mike Tyson look like that and to be taken to school by a social media influencer, but it's going to happen.
Man, I've never saw anything like, we probably never see again anything like Mike Tyson in the 80s. That was the greatest boxer ever in the 80s. It wasn't even close. I mean, he was just, say what you want about Lennox Lewis, man. Lennox Lewis in the 2000s would get smoked.
But listen to what you just said.
The 80s Mike Tyson.
You just said in the 80s.
yeah.
It's
I know
40 years ago.
It's 2024.
Yeah. What would Lennox Lewis actually fight Jake Paul? I'm wondering. Now he's actually 60, I believe.
Okay, Lennox
and Lennox is tall too.
It doesn't matter. Jake Paul could go fight fucking Vitaly Klitschko right now and fucking rock him too.
So those guys aren't that old. They're like in their 40s, I think.
I don't know how old the Klitschko's is, so I'm not going to weigh in on that.
I think in their 40s.
Listen, we literally we're a month removed from Mike Tyson having to get wheelchaired off a fucking plane because he had a tummy ache, right? We saw those clips of him trying to run on a treadmill. And I say tummy ache. He actually had ulcers or some shit. But like that should fucking tell you the type of health that Mike Tyson is in right now. To me, it's a little bit scary that this fight is even happening. And I'm a little bit worried about Mike Tyson getting in the ring. But
I understand your concern. I do understand. I mean, Mike Tyson is old.
Yes.
But I still don't believe Jake Paul is a boxer either. He's a showman.
It's not like he has no boxing skills like that. It's not so black and fucking white.
But he's not showcasing it against real boxers. That's the thing.
Jake Paul 2 years ago was very much amateur. Jake Paul spends a lot of fucking money, and I'm not a Jake Paul fan. I oppose Jake Paul. I can't stand the motherfucker. And yes, I don't think he's a real boxer, but what Jake Paul has is a lot of fucking money, expendable money, and he does have a passion for the sport. He spends a lot of fucking money training with the best boxers, with the best trainers on the fucking planet year round. The dude has dedicated himself to it. And let me say again, I can't fucking stand Jake Paul. I'm not a Jake Paul fan. I hope he does get his shit rocked. But the dude in Jake Paul in this last clip that we just watched, he looked fine. He looked good. He fucked him up. So I think this Mike Tyson fight's going to be a fucking joke, man. A lot of people are going to be upset. A lot of people, Mike Tyson is their hero. They're going to be really upset to see Jake Paul take Mike Tyson to school.
I do agree that Tyson needs to take him out in about 2, maybe 3 rounds, though.
Again, it is Mike Tyson. He does he's got a puncher's chance, but to me, that's all it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll see. But that is going to do it for us this week, guys. Let me finish up with a couple of these super chats. Let's see. Gippet becomes a channel member. Thank you. Lord Botha, amazing to watch a WNBA and ESPN and finally figure out, hey, maybe if we try to sell these female players as hot, sports bros will actually tune in. I don't know how much ESPN is doing that and how much they're trying to push their own social medias like that. Like some of the younger WNBA players are like, hey, let's just make TikToks and get our tits and asses out. And maybe people will pay more attention to us. And yeah, it's worked. It's distracted people from Caitlin Clark's Sid eyes. Instead, they're looking at her ass. Chris Coran for 2. That's right. Last game. That's right, Chris. Tom Brady's last game ever. Rye the Guy South Sudan almost beat Team USA without their best player, Bol Bol, even on their roster. Let that sink in. It's true. Steve Johnson for 5. Do y'all see the Mike that fought Roy being able to beat Jake?
No.
Exactly. Like, that's the thing. The last time we saw him against Roy Jones, there's no way. I don't think that guy's staying in the ring with Jake Paul. Super based for 15. Took my newborn son to his first and last A's game at the Coliseum. Really sucks to leave him, but Oakland makes Cambodia look like Coruscant. We want to leave too. Go A's. Trump 2024. Yeah. The A's, it's fucking rough, and they don't want to put any money to that. The city doesn't necessarily want to help them put any money to that. It's a bad situation for a pretty historic baseball team. Barbecue Pits. What's up, Beardo, John, and my N-word Ryan? Caitlin Clark is my first favorite player since Kobe. Tell Jeremy I said Kobe's better than LeBron. I'll let him know. And then Chris Coran for another 2. Breaking news, Beardo Sims for Jake Paul. That was the takeaway. That was the takeaway.
I don't necessarily think Beardo's wrong about Jake Paul. Not necessarily wrong about it, but
I can't stand the motherfucker. I cannot stand Jake Paul.
I feel like John isn't giving Jake Paul quite enough credit for.
I just can't take someone serious, man, as a boxer when he doesn't fight boxers.
I hear you. He's fighting washed up UFC guys, right? Who it's not like those guys don't have any talent, but they also didn't fucking box for their entire life. UFC is different than boxing. And there are some guys who are more skilled strikers than others, but it is still different. But I don't think it's
fighting a 60-year-old Mike Tyson.
Yeah. Look at Marcus Young's comment here. It says Tyson in his prime had trouble after the 6th round. John think he would do better 20 years later. Thing is, how many guys actually went to the 6th round with Mike Tyson? Not many.
Not many. We were just talking about Tom Brady going out in the football field at 47 years old, and we were saying that he's too old for it. Mike Tyson stepping in the ring at 60 years old. And this is combat sports.
He might die. Like, I actually think he might die. Not because Jake Paul's just that good, but just because he's that old and unhealthy.
Now, I think that here's the difference, though. Tom Brady would actually be going in against real NFL players. I think Tom Brady could be great in the UFL right now. I mean, granted, there are some former NFL players in there, but for the most part, it's guys that were like on the practice squad or something like that. Yeah, he would dominate them.
Either way, we'll see what happens. It's coming up next month, I think. I think it's August, maybe.
I think September. They postponed
September.
It to September.
Yeah, it got postponed. So
a
couple
Tyson
months
fight?
from now, we'll see.
No, that's
on
November.
Netflix.
November, right?
Oh, they moved it all the way back to November.
I think it's November.
That is a long way away. So
who knows?
I guess we're gonna be fucking fighting about this shit for longer. All right, guys, that's it for us. Shout out to Beardo. Thanks for joining us, man, and thank you to John Matrix from Black and White Sports. And we'll be back next week, same time, and we will talk to you later. Oh, I missed a couple over on Rumble. That's my bad. Jose Contreras for $1. You want to enjoy baseball some more? I recommend Trevor. You said Trayvon Bauer, but I think you mean Trevor Bauer YouTube channel. It made baseball more interesting. I actually watch a lot of his videos he puts out. And then Kenny Curvecock for 2. 5 weeks until week 0 for college football. Beardo, are you streaming your play of CFB 25?
No, I'm not streaming it. I'm just playing that on my own time, just for fun.
There you go. All right, guys. Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you next week. Peace.